where I fish, on Bristol Bay, Alaska, where we get tides with a vertical run of 30 feet and currents so strong and dangerous that fishermen are often well advised to pay more attention to the physical needs of their anchors than to the emotional needs of their crews. They had the anchor bowsed up tight on the fishing vessel Stu Budge on a kind of a hazy but calm day late in June. They'd had a poor season, slow season so far. And they were still, the Stu Budges, the Budgies, were deep in the expense hole. And they'd fished hard all the night before, working inshore tight. And they had made mostly water hauls. So now they've bravely cracked the net out in the middle of the bay in deep water in the middle of nowhere for a long, slow, sleepy rest drift. Slumped over the wheel asleep is the skipper, John Woodhead, Woody to his friends. Every now and then a little wave will kind of crack his head against the side window there and sort of half wake him, and he looks around and checks the net, and then he brushes up the whole drool on his shirt and smears that and then kind of nods back up. Stu Budge is a small boat, and so his crewmen, or his children, Spin and Marty, their bunks are not so, and their cute little faces are not so very far at all from Woody's feet. What's that? Oh yeah, coming up out of the haze is a most horrible vessel, and she is fast, and she's huge. She's got a 900 horsepower super turbocharged diesel with high-speed jets. She is streamlined. She's got titanium deck fittings and hydraulic gear. That's for strength and for swank. As she thunders on in, the Budgies can just make out her name written above her bow plume in blood red dripping script. You might know this boat. Yeah, I think you do. The only vessel twice voted most obnoxious boat on Bristol Bay. That's right. It's the Misogyny. Stu Budge is a wooden boat. She's got a little sway in her keel. She's so small you could stuff her into Misogyny's fish hold. She's got a 60 horsepower diesel two-stroke engine. She's got a little tick, 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 tick sound comes out of her starboard cylinder. It could be a valve, not bad, but I think it's just if you listen, it's just a lifter. The old Budge has got another season or two left in her. Tell you the truth, she's made that sound since the Nixon administration. Misogyny roars on in, on step, and right past Stu Budge's wheel, Stu Budge, so fast that her wake tips the Stu Budge up on her side, so that her tea kettle slides off the wood stove, falls to the deck. Then Misogyny engages that fabulous titanium deck hydraulic gear, and they throw their buoy, and they lay out a set just a few feet up tide from the Stu Budge, corking her perfectly and with no fish around, pointlessly. And then they settle down in the water right next to the Stu Budge, wheelhouse to wheelhouse. And the Misogyny crew says nothing. They just stare at the Stu Budge. They give them a hairy eyeball. And it's a mean and ugly crew they are, too. They got walrus bellies, all of them. They don't have any necks. They've got lots of tattoos, not so many teeth. They're all smoking. They're monsters. Their skipper, Captain Robert or Bob Nasty, is even worse. He's got a cast in his eye, got facial scars. His lip is curled in a permanent sneer above his broken fang. He's a really good listener, this old Bob, but he's not listening in some empathetic way, like to be a real friend. He's listening to get information he might use against you later to maybe cheat you in a business deal, or maybe just hurt your feelings. He's got huge halitosis. The budgie's upwind from misogyny, so the stew budges can't smell it, but you can sort of see it. It's like exhaust. Well, Woody's mom, Mother Woodhead, did not raise her son to stand still for a corking, even a pointless corking. I mean, what kind of example parenting would that be? Can't do that in front of her grandchildren. All right, kids, we're gonna pick the net up and then get ready. We're gonna cork that monster boat right on back. Spin and Marty are kind of scared, but they get the net back on board. We clear, kids? Yeah, Dad, we're clear. They make the ready signal. Sploosh, they throw the buoy, and the stew budge lays out a set, just a couple feet up tide from the misogyny set. And then they settle down in the water, wheelhouse to wheelhouse, up close and personal. And Woody gives them that hairy eyeball right back. On board misogyny, Captain Nasty and his deck monsters go utterly ballistic. They vocalize angrily. They engage that fabulous gear, and they suck their net right on in. And then they back down on Stew Budge's net, and they boat hook the buoy. They make it fast to their own transom. And then misogyny tows Stew Budge's net in a circle around the Stew Budge 2 times, making a terrible mess. And then one of those deck thugs throws the Stew Budge's own buoy back at her so hard that when it hits Woody's side window, it cracks it. And then they all light cigarettes, and they litter a little, and motor away at 35 knots. Stew Budges are absolutely flabbergasted by this. Spin and Marty, they're just little kids, they're scared. But Dad, Woody calms them down. He says, all right, kids, it's just another job of work to do. We'll just unfornicate the net and get back to fishing. Unfornicate the net? Okay, Woody runs a clean family boat. I tell a clean family story. But Spin and Marty were raised on the grounds, so they understand what he's talking about. So they get busy. It takes a couple hours, but they get the net all unfornicated and back on the reel, and then the Stew Budge slinks away, many miles away, to anchor up in the lee of a sheltering sandbar. We will not call this hiding, but so flustered are the budgies that they barely touch their supper. And more to the point, they don't set their anchor properly. They just chuck it overboard. And then they fall into a restless and troubled sleep. Let's let them rest. In the night comes a whoosh, that old west wind. In the night comes the whoosh of the old west wind. And the hiss of Mr. Tide. Stew Budge's anchor is foul, it will not set. Stew Budge drifts for miles, in some danger, on whoosh of wind and hiss of tide. With great good fortune, instead of a disaster, they come to rest in the shallows in a safe spot, a spot called Dog Bottom Sands. In the morning, before first light, Woody wakes up and he instantly realizes that they've dragged anchor. Oh Lord, where are we this time? But taking counsel of his coffee and his tide book and his chart, he gets to thinking that maybe things just aren't all that bad, really. First off, that west wind that blew all night, that might be a fish wind. Bring some fish. And second, that tide we were just on, that was a hold-up tide. That's a high-low. And the one we're looking into is going to be a low-high. And that kind of tidal combination at certain places on Bristol Bay at this time of year can lead to great concentrations of fish at places like, for example, Dog Bottom Sands, where Woody eventually figures out we've come to rest. Kids wake up, they have the cocoa, they peek over the side, and they see finning salmon. A little bit of light coming up, they can see some flashes out there of, "Dad, look, jumpers, jumpers! Don't you point! You were raised better than that." Ah! Now, you may have gathered that Woody Woodhead is perhaps not the brightest light shining out on the harbor, but he's got a lot of experience. And in a situation like this, Woody knows what to do. "Come on, kids, get it, the deck ready. We're gonna set right here and right now." So Spin and Marty get the deck ready. "We're clear, Dad." They make the ready signal. You could too. They need help. Thanks.